family. It's gangs. Today we're gonna be doing. Wait, am I freaking okay? Today I'm going to be doing what if Naruto was a swordsman. So basically, Naruto is not going to have the gum fruit. I've known a couple. Yeah, a couple of it. And this was actually supposed to be for what if Naruto was an admiral. I just didn't. I might do a part 2, but I ain't up to it. I don't know on my channel if I've ever done a part 2. Let me see. I mean, if I've ever done what if Luffy was a swordsman, Sasuke, Dracula, Mihawk, New Year's, Hunter x Hunter, Luffy, wait, Escanor, Hashirama, Goldie Roger, Luffy, Escanor, Zeus, Luffy, no, so I've never done what if Luffy was a swordsman. So, depending on how this goes, I might do a couple of these. Let's just get right into this. What if? Start the intro. Just kidding, like there's an intro. There's not an intro. Shoot. I should have just used the Anime X one. So I should have just used the what's it called, the one. So sorry. Let's just get right into this. What if at this time we are at 99 subs? So, I would post this until we get to 100 and say, this is my 100 special. But until I see that thing go to 100, I guess this is my 99 subs. This is going to be my pre-100 special. Because we're at 99 subs. Make sure to subscribe. Why am I talking so much? Let's just get right into this video. So we see Luffy as he's in a bar. He's talking to Shanks, and Shanks decides that he wants to train Luffy. So they train. Shanks stays for a couple of months, but then he leaves. Now, Luffy's not going to eat the gum. Wait. Luffy's not going to eat the gum fruit. So I feel like if you're a swordsman, you can't really have a devil fruit like the gum fruit. It's just too weird to have while you're a swordsman. So Luffy's buff like this, We're going to start this off when Luffy meets Zoro. Everything happens as in the original. But then, when it's time, when Helmeppo and his men and Axe and Morgan come out, Zoro's looking at Luffy as he says, "The second strongest swordsman in the world. I want to see his power." As then Luffy says, "So you want to become the strongest swordsman in the world too, eh? Well, look at me, and I'll probably even train you. But first, let me show you what you at least need to have." As Luffy then just slashes his sword and drops it on the ground, and then all of a sudden an entire shockwave of wind then flashes at the admirals as the admirals are then brought back. Axe and Morgan jumps in the air as he says, "You're dead! Be it not if you are the second strongest swordsman. It will make my reputation way..." "You're an evil man, Axe-Hand Morgan. You're evil indeed." As Axe-Hand Morgan then spits out blood. Luffy's way more serious in this one. Axe-Hand Morgan was just stabbed through the stomach. As Luffy takes out his blade, and Axe-Hand Morgan falls on his chest. He keeps coughing out blood, and blood keeps draining. As Helmeppo says, "You're gonna pay." So Helmeppo is not really going to be an admiral or any stuff like that. As Luffy then says, "You are the offspring of this man." As he then drags down his sword. And he says, I can't kill you, but I can scar you for life. As Helmeppo's arm is then just cut off. He bleeds and yells in anger. As Zoro's just shocked at the power, like. So while they're on their ship in the sea, Luffy has a few random men, he has, let me see their ranks. Luffy has, going to show you their power and stuff like that. Luffy's men are all at the power of at least a chief petty officer. Like, these might be randoms, but, they got a little bit of power. And Luffy asks Zoro, if he wants to be his first mate. Zoro says, I'd be honored to. As they then sit down, Luffy tells him, so, I might be inquiring, you're wondering how I got this scar, right? Well, actually I was. So, if you know anything about me, I'm gonna be boosting up Luffy's age. I'm 19 years old. What? You're 19 too, right? Yeah, continue. You see, I'm 19 years old, and I did something very stupid when I was 17. At this time, I had just reached the 10th strongest swordsman in the world. I fought the legendary one-eyed Mihawk in a match. We were clashing, but then I was unguarded, and then he used a strong attack and slashed me across my chest. I almost died. He dropped me off at a medical place, but then that medical place was then attacked by some mobs, so I had to walk out. When I was walking, I was traveling the seas as I was bleeding, and then that's where I met this bunch of pirate crew. This pirate crew. Their name were the Seabok Pirates, and they're now my pirates. You see, they all said that they wanted to fight me while I was still weak, and they had a leader. He was Jackson A. Smith. He was almost one of the emperors. But he was one of the strongest pirates on the sea with a bounty of 908 million Jenny. Him and his first mate and second mate captain both came to fight me, and I killed the second mate captain very easily, but then the first mate, he clashed with me, and then he said, I hate to kill a bleeding cow, and then I chopped him down by cutting him in the neck accidentally. That's how I killed my first person. Then this evil and anger, rage came on me, and then I fought the captain. Well, we clashed. He used some type of weird gum fruit. He called it, if I can remember, second gear. Then he rushed at me, and he tried to punch me in the face, but I cut off his arm. Then I hit him in the hilt of his eye, which gave him a black eye, and then stabbed him in the arm. His arm then extended. He had the gum fruit, and then he punched me right in my chest where my wound was. Coughed out a lot of blood. He then tried to run away, but I used this move that I call Silken Skewer. The Silken Skewer. and I destroyed him, I guess. I didn't find a trace of him, so that's what happened. And in my trainings and years, I picked up this new sword. It's called the Mirror Cave Sword. It can mirror any. It's like a mirror. It can mirror any attack, and it can also create balls and power blasts. And I was able to envelop my silicon skewer into it. And I also have another move called Gunshot. Main 3 moves. So that's how I got my scar. As we're now going to switch to the Sanji. To recruiting Sanji as Zoro acts as when Zoro's about to ask Hawkeye if they can face. All of a sudden Luffy comes with an anger in his eyes as he says, Zoro, you're my first mate. And I've trained you for a long time. As Luffy then puts down his sword, and he looks, and he then looks right into, Mihawk's eyes, as he says, I'm going to face you and destroy you, Mihawk. As then Mihawk says, oh, Plan Senor, I want to see. As then Luffy then starts to get mad. He says, oh, you cocky little, you've always... As then the ground then start to shake. The sea then starts to rumble. Mihawk. In these seas, I'm God, Luffy. As Luffy has a $500 million bounty. Million berries on his head. And then Nami says, Luffy, you might want to... And Sanji and Usopp then say, as then Usopp says, no, let him fight. When a man's at his top desire, he has no choice but to let that anger out. And right now he's directing all of that anger possible at Mihawk. If we disrupt him, he might try to kill us. As Nami then says, no, but Luffy-san, and she has a little crush on Luffy. Her and Luffy have been drinking. You know, since Luffy's more matured, he knows how to get girls. He knows how to get girls. As she then yells, "Stop it! You're going to destroy this entire place." As then, he asks Sanji, as your first job as a sailor on this ship, it's going to be evacuating everyone as fast as you can. As the grounds then start to shake, and an earthquake, like the ground starts to crack. This is an earthquake, a balance of both of their hockeys. As Luffy's hair then goes up, like he looks like a Saiyan right now. So much energy is emitting off of him. And Luffy then says, I almost forgot my sword. As they then face each other, Luffy says, I think I'll tell you when my sword is. Like, his sword looks exactly like this, don't worry. His katana. Katu Matsuri. Wait. One of the 12 Dunkos. Yes, just like your sword. It's just mine. It's the strongest in the world. Sorry. That declined that one. As Devin asks, when Mihawk hears this, he then backs away. He says, Luffy, are you sure you want to fight me? All of a sudden, Mihawk then gets punched as he coughs out a bazillion of blood. He then gets punched away. Luffy then puts up his sword, like in this position, as he says, "Are you gonna fight me or not?" Cocky. As they then clash, which this is a thunderous clash. Ugh. As this is then a thunderous clash, which then we're just gonna skip. As they're going back home, when Luffy meets Arlong, and he easily defeats Arlong. No need to tell that story. But Luffy then gets to the island where Smoker's at, as he says, "I think I'll chill and eat here." And this time, Smoker immediately recognizes Luffy. He says, "Strawhead he says, "Who? Katana King Luffy." As Luffy then looks up, "I'm eating right now. Don't worry, we can fight later, Smoker." As Smoker then gets up as he says, "No, you're coming with me now. Come on, I haven't eaten in a couple of days. We've been running low on food. So, please." Still calling me right now. So he then says, "Please. Not right now. Okay, I'll let you eat, but I'll let you also know. In 3 seconds, some top Marines are gonna be here. I'm just gonna make it some random Commander Marines. Shizukai, Elfando, and Dido. Oh, the the three the three piglets. Aren't y'all all twins?" Yeah. That disrespect that you're handing us off, I don't like it. Let me just finish eating. Don't worry, I'll come fight you. Or do you want to deal with Sanji? As Sanji then comes, he says, "Captain, I think I'll fight these guys." As Sanji then lifts his foot in the air, and then he says, "Thunderous volcano, Sanji." As he's trying to impress Nami because he already knows that Nami and Luffy are in a relationship, and then he hits the ground, which sends a crackle, and then, a lot of stuff goes their way, and that sends them flying, Except for Smoker. Smoker says, "What did you?" I told Sanji their weakness. I knew that they were gonna come. I saw their ships. And I knew that you were going to approach me at this exact bar, and that you were gonna come here at this exact time. So that's why I came. And I knew what you'd ask me to do." As we then go to Zoro's perspective, he's actually right in the bar with Luffy, as then he sees that little girl. That girl, I don't know her name, like, she hasn't gained my respect at all. As Zoro comes out, he says, "Just one thing. So, to be a part of the Katana King, pirates, basically you have to get a scar on your face." So Sanji, he has a scar like at his left chin, which kind of looks like Luffy's scar, but it's going down. And Nami, she has a scar on her arm. No, Nami doesn't have a scar. The girls don't have to get a scar, don't worry. But they do get a tattoo, which is basically, like a pirate version of Luffy, a bone version of Luffy. Nobody really cares about this. Let's just get on some big fight. AKA, Luffy whooped Smoker's behind. So nobody really cares about the fight. Let's just go to the Marine Fort. I've been wasting too much time. As Luffy standing before Whitebeard as get ready to clap your hands. One of the 4 emperors. Whitebeard's not an emperor anymore. I know y'all are probably gonna be real mad at this one, but Whitebeard, at his old age, he's not fit to be an emperor. So he's not an emperor anymore. As Luffy is standing right beside Whitebeard, and Whitebeard looks down on him as he says, "So you're my replacement, Monkey D. Luffy, or should I say, Katana King Luffy, strongest swordsman in the world." Luffy's new bounty is, I'm feeling myself. It's 5.1 billion. Wait, what was Goldie Rogers' bounty? Yeah, I want to see that one. What was Goldie Rogers' bounty? I said dummy. What was Goldie Rogers' bounty? $5.5 billion berries. Okay, so Luffy's at 5.1, but as people just refer to Luffy as the Pirate King. Pirate King Luffy, like King Luffy. His new bounty name is King Luffy. As Luffy finally gets this. Luffy's now 20. As he's walking down. And he says, "End this war now!" As, even the admirals respect Luffy. Even the admirals respect Luffy's grind, bro. Nobody can defeat Luffy. And the admirals have faced and seen that. Because they've all fought Luffy and got destroyed. Number one, they would need either Prime Garp or Sengoku, to fight Luffy. Number two, he's already destroyed the 3 admirals. What can they do? If they actually try to go fist to fist, this is like the Shanks situation. They know Shanks can whoop all of their butts, And, oh my gosh, stop freaking calling me. They know that Shanks can whoop all of their butts. But they're still gonna fight Luffy. This is where I'm gonna be ending off. So what if, comments, subscribe, share, as I said, me platforms, YouTube, we're out.